Ladies and gentlemen, in a few seconds, we will be live on live stream from Iligan City National High School. Please stand by.
Good morning, Iligan City!
Good morning, Iligan City Athletic Association.
Good morning, coaches, parents, and security personnel.
And good morning also to our dear viewers who are watching us right now live. We are your anchors for Day 3 of the Division Athletic Meet. I am Ainsley Diaz-Talioso, and here with me is Kuya Jaden Malines, and we're here in the radio station live to bring you more updates.
Now, Ainsley, are you particularly excited about any sport for this day?
Well, yes, I heard that there's still volleyball up and in the gymnasium right now, and it's actually the men's category. I'm really excited to see who is the winner and who will advance to the regional level. How about you, Kuya? What do you think?
Me myself, I'm really excited about the results in chess. Something about the secondary men's league and who will advance to the regional meet.
Oh, I see. Between the divisions right now, Kuya, who do you think would win?
Now, me personally, I really believe that the Central Thunderhawks are a strong competitor for the number 1 spot. How about you, Ainsley?
Well, for me, not to be biased and all, but I will say the Trailblazers. I can't really explain, but not to be biased, but I think they're a very good competition, and they're very good at the teamwork and stuff like that.
Okay.
In the meantime, while our field reporters are still not around for the updates, why don't we just talk right now?
Speaking of talking, Ainsley, do you play any sports in particular?
Oh, me personally, I don't play sports, and that's the one thing that I really need to develop in the big 2026 right now. But if I had to choose a sport that I would play, I would say probably archery, because it just piqued my interest even though I haven't really tried it before. How about you, Kuya?
Well, we all have to start somewhere, but I would really love to begin with golf. Something
golf.
about the quiet stillness in the game is really speaks something to me.
Oh, yeah, I can see. It's very peaceful, and it's a really good startup for the sports career and stuff like that. Now, I have a few questions that I want to ask you, Kuya. So, does it bother you that people gamble on sporting events?
Now, my opinion on that matter is quite complicated, seeing that sports is more of an entertainment. So it's quite risky to put money on said in sports games. So which leads to people being poorer than they actually are and risking more money due to the events of one single game.
Yeah, I see. Because in sporting events, I can really see why people bet on it, because it's like a very bettable game, like who win, and there will be loses and wins. But I would say that it's not really suitable, because aside from it being very, I must say, not really a good habit to experience, but it's kind of like a bad habit, and I don't want people to be influencing that any further. And even in sporting events, I don't know, I don't think that's really good. Yeah, so how about if fishing is viewed as a sport in your culture or solely a way of making a living? Do you think fishing is a sport that people can do in the Olympics? What do you think?
From what I've seen around the city, fishing is more of a livelihood for most people, since it's not really for sports. People see it more as a way to get food for themselves and their parents, as well as other people in the entire city. It's not really seen as a sport, but it could be one day. How about you, Ainsley? What is your thought on that?
Same as you, Kuya. I think it's just like a way of people to live on, like for their food supplies and stuff like that. But I don't. Yeah, personally for me, I don't think it's gonna be a sports that in the serious matter that will be like in the like the division meet. I don't think that's really suitable for sports, like a lot of action and stuff like that. And yeah.
Okay, now Ainsley, on the topic of sports and athletics, how often do you exercise?
Oh dear. So for me, I don't really exercise a lot, which is really bad because I'm still a teenager and I should develop more on my body and stuff like that. I should really get into exercising. Like, it should be good if it's like once or twice a week. But yeah, personally for me, I don't really exercise. How about you, Kuya?
Now, I can say I'm much of a expert on exercising since
Oh,
I
really?
also don't really exercise much, which is, as you said, a very bad habit actually. Um, which is why I'm planning to exercise more frequently with, smaller steps because we all
Yeah.
have to start somewhere.
Yeah, that is true. That is a habit that is very good to be adapted.
Okay, Ainsley, now, do you even watch sports on TV?
Oh yes. So I watch sports on TV with my papang because he always watch sports and they're very like they're not athletic but they just watch it for fun because nothing they can do right now. Yeah. But I don't really understand the rules of the game. I just like watching it even though I don't understand. And yeah. How
So
about you?
Ainsley, do you have specific sports that your parents watch in the?
Oh, yes. So, specific sports, I would say basketball. And my ate, she's actually a basketball player. And also my dad. We used to have like a basketball court in our house, in our old house, and they would like practice basketball there for their tournament and stuff like that. I enjoy watching that, even though I was just a little kid. I enjoy watching it so much, but like I don't understand, and probably because of my height, I don't know, I'm small. I don't really do basketball and stuff. How about you, Kuya? Do you
Now-
think basketball is like really fun game to do as a family bonding?
Now, speaking from experience, I don't really play basketball, which is
Same.
a shocker for most people considering my height, but I don't really play basketball and I don't see it as a family matter since no one really plays it in our family for like recreation. But for some of you out there who really love sports, basketball is a good family bonding. So Ainsley,
Yeah, see.
what do you think is the most unique sport you have experienced or heard of?
Oh, so the most unique sports that I have heard of, even though I haven't played it, is actually once again archery. I would really love to experience it, and I don't see it like really a common. I don't see it like anywhere in here in the Philippines so far. For me, my personal experience, I haven't seen it, but I really want to watch it and like do it somehow and stuff like that because it's really interesting on how they aim and target and stuff like that. How about you, Kuya?
I'm really curious on how sumo works.
Sumo. Oh.
It's a very interesting topic for most people because like, is it wrestling or is it more than that?
Yeah, I see that. But I also don't really understand sumo. I think it's just like Japanese culture. It's what I've heard. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so Ainsley, in your opinion, do you think our athletes get enough money or too low money or too much money in this modern day?
In this modern day, I could say that they receive a good amount of money for their efforts and their hardships that they always face. And I think it's just like they should be getting these money like an equal amount for their hardships because like it's not easy to go to the training grounds all the time and being able to play for your country or your team and stuff stuff like that. And they even face like injuries, which is something that people really don't like in their daily lives. And I would say that it's sports is just a really fun but also a very dangerous thing to do. So it's very good that athletes would get paid an equal amount for their like that. Yeah.
Okay, in my opinion, athletes are deserving of the amount of money they receive, since sports, as you said, is a very dangerous activity which leads to frequent injuries and life-threatening events for not just the athletes but their families too. So, um, the amount of money athletes get right now is more on the topic of how good they are on their specific sport, but I think they are really deserving of that money.
Yeah, I see, Kuya. So, in the topic here that the athletes receive a lot of money and stuff like that, are there any more benefits athletes get from these sports things that they do?
Um, I think one of the most major factors or benefits that athletes get is, of course, health. They are really healthy from what I've seen due to the countless practices, the field events, and their general good balanced diet to play well in the game. And most of all, they get prominence if they win the game. They become more famous, giving
Yeah.
them an incentive to push forward and continue their career. How about you, Ainsley? What are your
Yes,
thoughts on
I actually agree on that because, like, aside from all the money that they receive, they also get these health benefits that they do in their daily lives, and it's just like a really good thing for them, for their health, for their career. They also get career, yes, and stuff like that.
Okay. So, Ainsley, in your opinion, what do you think is the most expensive sport to play?
Oh, I would say it's either Guan. It's either archery because of all of their equipments. I mean, it must be expensive buying a bow and arrow all the time if something breaks, right? It gotta be expensive. And I would also say a dance sport because of their props, and they have to hire a coach if I'm not wrong. And yeah, it's really expensive with all of the performances all the time and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, so in my opinion, big sports that require a big stadium like basketball or baseball are very expensive sports, but that's more of a professional level. For beginners, I really think golf is quite expensive with the amount of clubs and the limited amount of places you can play in the game, which is really taking a toll on your pocket.
Yes, I agree. But how about Kuya? Like, what sports do you think is the most dangerous?
I think the sports that require physical touch, such as wrestling and boxing, are very dangerous. Some of the most dangerous. Also, volleyball is also very dangerous. I have seen a lot of players and athletes who got injured in our volleyball tournament in this division meet. Also, a lot of them were not really helped with the health professionals, but I think they're doing their job, and not to be ungrateful to the health professionals, but they really are doing their job correctly. How about you, Ainsley?
Yes, so for me, the most dangerous is probably like baseball because of the balls flying around. And as I've observed, like there's not enough facilitators to accompany these, like the outsiders from the oval, who, because like if there's like no facilitators, enough facilitators there, then there's a possibility that someone outside of the oval will get like injured from the balls flying around. And I would also say that baseball is one of the dangerous, yes, because like they're in the heat area because they have to swing their balls and the bats and stuff like that. And there's also possibility of getting injured because they had to run around and stuff like that. I would also say sprint because like if you don't have like enough, if you don't prepare enough for it, then there's a possibility that you might break your bones from running too fast or sprinting too fast. And yeah, that's a very dangerous thing that they could do, and they risk their health for it. Yeah.
Okay, so Ainsley, very controversial question. Do you think esports are valid sports that should be included in the division athletic meet?
That is very interesting. Esports. Oh, I would say that esports is like, it should be in another competition or something. That I don't think it should be included in the division meet, but I think it's like as a separate like tournament also, because it's like esports is like the game version of the real sports that the division athletes do and stuff like that. So I don't think it's really valid as a one tournament thing. I think it's like, it's okay if we did like separate of those two. Yeah. How
Yeah,
about
I
you?
really support your stand on the topic,
Yes.
Ainsley, because I also think that esports deserves its own tournament due to the sheer number of games and the amount of people that play games. There's just not enough facilities to accommodate them in this already diverse environment here in
Yes,
the
I agree.
division athletic meet.
So I want to ask you, Kuya, do you have a favorite athlete in your mind so far?
No, not really, since I don't really follow sports. I don't have a particular athlete who I favor in any sport, so
So I also agree to that. I don't really do sports. I don't really watch. I know I watch, but I don't like get into it like any further with it. So I don't really know any players at the moment that is famous and stuff like that.
okay, Ainsley, another question for you. Do you think there should be more sports in the division athletic meet? Could you give an example of a sport you would like to see here in the division athletic meet?
So I'm not really sure about this, but I think they should add golf. Do they have golf here? But it's not in like in our school right now, City High. It's like this division meet is set in different locations from different schools, because City High can't accommodate all of the sports at the same time because of the limited space. But I would like to see golf being performed. Even if it's not in a school, it can be like in another venue. I really want to see that. And I think it's an opportunity for the athletes that do golf, for them to show their talents and capabilities. How about you?
I would really love to see more Paralympic sports to support
yes.
our disabled members of the community and give them more standing and health benefits when playing sports. Also, I would really love to see more of archery and range sports like firing guns, even though it's very scary for children
Yes.
to compete in those sports. I think with a regulated environment, it would be worthwhile and fun to watch for our viewers.
Yeah, I would agree to that too. But like, what sports do you not like, Kuya? Do you have anything in particular?
I think sports that are too big to fun,
Yeah.
that require too much money and capital to make. In the Philippines, for example, ice skating is very
Yes.
expensive. Although I would love to see that, it's just not practical here in this hot, humid environment. How about
Yeah,
you?
I would love to experience ice skating as well. But if you have to choose, Kuya, do you think, what would you pick? Swimming or skiing? Like hypothetically, even if it's gone.
Now, I would really love to pick skiing, since swimming is kind of a topic here in the Philippines with a lot of people swimming every
Yeah.
summer. So I would really love to experience skiing once in a while.
Yeah, I would agree to you because like skiing is like something that is not really common here because of the really hot atmosphere that we have in the Philippines right now. But if I were to travel to a place cold, then I would say the one thing that I would really love to do is skiing. Even especially when there's snow around, I would really love that. And yeah,
Okay, so Ainsley, on the topic of swimming and skiing, do you prefer summer sports or winter sports?
ooh, so I don't really like getting sweaty because yeah, so because I'm not really that type of person because like it sticks everywhere and stuff like that. I really don't like it. So I would say I'm more of a winter sports type of girl, and something that I really like to experience someday is ice skating. Yeah.
I would have to disagree with you there, Ainsley. I really think summer sports are
Oh.
quite good in this environment since it's what we experience and it's very close to home for our culture. And
Yeah. So, Kuya, if you were to choose a sport that you would really want to like compete in, what sport would it be?
um, for me, that would be chess.
Hobby thing or even competing? I would love to try it. Yeah, like that.
Okay, now on I noticed earlier you said a lot about health in sports. Now, do you think what could you give advice to our players to minimize health related issues while playing said sports?
I would say what I would advise is that you should practice a lot and then exercise and then you have to like what do you call this? Like you have to be really into the game or something like that. No, no, I mean like you should practice, exercise, and eat a healthy diet and drink a lot of medicine, vitamins, so that your body would be capable for the sports that we're playing, so that it would like minimize the risk of injuries during and after competing. Because I see that a lot of players are like injured and stuff like that. I know that they're prepared for the said sports, but it's not that bad to be like overly prepared to like an extra vitamins if ever they have like symptoms, and I think it would be best to take a rest if ever they're like not feeling well and not in the condition. I don't think that they should push themselves to the limit just to play. How about you, Priya?
Now, here in the Philippines, heat is a very huge factor when it comes to playing sports, especially with field sports such as baseball,
Yes.
which is why I really advise the athletes and coaches to drink plenty of water, stay hydrated during the game, since they lose a lot of sweat when
Yes.
playing, when they're very dedicated to the game. So drink plenty of water.
Yes, that is very right, and I agree with you. So, how about this, Kuya? Which do you prefer? Do you prefer volleyball or basketball?
Now, being that I don't really play any of the sports, I would be really interested in playing or just watching basketball, since I heard it's a good sport and apparently my height is built for the game, so I would be really interested in playing basketball. How about you, Ainsley?
I would say volleyball, even though I actually, yeah, I have this cousin, and she is a volleyball player, and not all the time, but sometimes we play in our house, and we would do volleyball, and it's actually pretty fun, and it's a very happy moment that I cherish with her all the time. Yeah.
So, Ainsley, on the topic of sports, do you watch car racing?
Oh, so that's an actually interesting question. I don't really watch car sports, but F1, do you know Formula One?
Yes.
Mm.
Very familiar
So
with
Formula One, I actually saw it in TikTok once, and I took a look at their videos, but I don't really watch it like all the time. I also don't know the rules or the games and the regulations, but yeah, I just watch it for fun and not to be like very serious with it. How about you, Kuya?
Now, I don't really watch car racing sports. On the occasion, I see a video on car racing. However, I'm not really interested regarding car sports since I don't know the rules to the complex game
Yeah,
of sports.
I would agree. So how about this, Kuya? So I'll tell you this. When the city helps builds a new sports stadium, who do you think benefits the most? The team, the city, or the nearby businesses or the sports fans?
That is a really interesting question, Ainsley. Now, I believe that if the city chooses to build a new sporting facility, um, I would like to believe that everyone gets to have more benefits, seeing that tourism would obviously go up due to more sports games, and the fans will be really happy seeing their teams playing on more professional and better facilities. And I really think the teams would also be better, have more benefits due to the sheer professionalism and better facilities in the new sporting arena.
Yeah, I would agree to you too because if the city decides to build more stadiums for sporting events, it would be like pretty costly. However, it's also a benefit because a lot of people around the world can come and enjoy and buy the tickets, which can up the business, and it can also be very beneficial for athletes because they would have an area to come like practice for if ever there's like a country based tournament or something like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Ainsley, now, do you think there are good professional sports commercials available in the Philippines? Advertising for people to play more sports.
For me personally, I don't see it often, which is like something that I really don't mind because but it's also bad that there's like no updates of like there's no commercials, and I think that they should add more commercials so that people can get an opportunity and stuff like that for the athletes.
Speaking on updates on athletes, we have a new development from our field reporters regarding volleyball.
Oh really? Let's take a look. Let's see.
So apparently this is what happened in the game.
Let's take a look. Oh, I see.
Ooh.
Okay, look, Kuya, everyone is super excited.
Now
This
I
is the
believe
men's.
these are the Western. These are the North Red Fox against the Western Dragons,
Oh
if I'm not
yes.
mistaken.
Oh, look at that
And-
serve. Yeah, that's amazing. I can't wait to see who will win and will advance to the regionals. Oh, that's a really nice update. Oh, I see. Look, everyone is super excited to see the announcement and the final results, which is something I've been anticipating for also. I
So
see.
Ainsley, on the topic of who will win, are you rooting for any specific volleyball teams to head to the regional meetups?
As of the moment, not really. I think that any one of them has the like capabilities to perform and represent our city, and I think there are really good teams out there too. But if I would say who's best to the best, well, I can't really comment on that one because I think everyone is the best at what they're doing right now. So yeah. How about you, Kuya? Who do you
Now,
think will be chosen for the regional levels?
now that question is really up in the air, seeing as many of the volleyball players here in the city are very talented, and the teams are also very talented with good sportsmanship. So the question of who will win is still undecided. However, we will be very proud to see the winners representing the city in the regional athletic meet.
In the topic of the teams, which sports do you want to watch live? Have you done that before?
Sports live. Now, being present here in the division athletic meet, I have been really interested regarding the field sports such as baseball. I don't really understand how the game works, but I figured it's very entertaining to watch live, and seeing the happy faces of the coaches and athletes is really inspiring
Yes.
out there.
So out there, I can see like swimming events happening around, and I think that when I watch the event live, it's like really interesting because like in this hot weather, I just want to go out there and take a swim and stuff like that. And I think they're very lucky for that, even if because it's really hot in here right now. Yes.
On the topic of sports in the division athletic meet, do you think dancing should be a part of the division athletic meet, or should it also get a tournament of its own?
Yes, I think dancing is a really good sports that a lot of players can develop, and it's like very athletic too because of the way they dance. They go into the music, and they actually do a lot of these, as I can see, and I think that dancing is a really good sports to develop because not only the player athletes on the field who are actually doing sports right now, dancing is, I think it can be accounted as a sports that needs to be a tournament because of the hard work they also face, and there's also like specific rules that they have to be fit in order to like do the dancing or something like that, or like any yeah, I think I would say it like that.
Okay, so I also agree that dancing should be a part of the division athletic meet, or also another tournament of its own, seeing the rise of in popularity of dancing due to TikTok among the
Yes.
youth, and it's also very athletic and very healthy for the students and youth to play.
On the topic of youth, so what do you think if you were a dad in the future, what sport would you not let your child play?
um, Very physical sports such as wrestling or baseball are very dangerous for young children, so which is why I really admire the elementary kids who chose the field, seeing the bravery and courage they have facing danger on the field. How about you, Icaa?
For me, I would say like I wouldn't the sports that I would not let my child play is probably something that can harm my child. I don't really have any restrictions for them because whatever they want, I can see if I can provide for them, and I don't think there's a need to restrict them because if that's what they want, then okay, I shall give it to you. Something like that.
So, on the topic of very hot, humid weather, especially with summer coming around,
Yes.
what do you think about swimming, and how often do you swim?
I don't swim that much because like we don't have a pool, and yeah, it's not something that one, pero I also think that swimming in this hot temperature is a really good cool off for the summer, and I think that we shouldn't swim all the time because it can have its own factors that can lead to like something like that. But yeah, I would say that swimming is a really good thing for the summertime. How about you?
Now, as much I would like to admit I don't really like swimming, but I really love swimming, especially with the hot climate. It's very helpful for those who want to cool off in the hot summer days, and for those who want to unwind from the stress of school and work, especially if you go to the beach.
Yeah, so speaking of swimming, Kuya, I don't really do it because like I had experiences with it before. Like I'm I'm not really like good at like swimming, but I know the basics of it. But like there's this one time when I was a child, I was I keep on drowning for some reason. And there was also this one person who purposely drowned me in the water, and that's actually affected me mentally. Like I don't really see swimming as fun anymore because of it, and I was always so afraid of the ocean, so I don't really like swimming in the ocean. I would prefer the pool, but not that deep though. Yeah.
Wow, Ainsley, that is very brave of you to admit something so traumatizing
Yeah,
that
how about
happened in
you,
your
Kuya?
childhood.
Do you have like any experiences that you don't like because of sports or anything?
Not really, no. I have no particularly bad experience on
Oh, that's
sports
good.
since I don't really play.
Mm.
But if there's this one thing I can remember, it was losing a chess match online during the pandemic, which is very damaging to my mental health, seeing that chess is one of the only good sports I play, and it really hurted me a lot, but luckily I recovered from that. And yeah,
Speaking of chess, Kuya, who taught you chess or inspired you to play chess? Is it your mom, your dad, or what? Whoever relative?
now on the topic of that, it was mostly my dad and my grandfather who
Oh, I
showed
see.
me the rules and taught me how to play chess. Um, and it's very heartwarming to know that my family members care about me and
Yeah.
me playing
So,
sports.
when did you start playing chess?
I
you can remember.
started playing chess at around 5, maybe 6.
Yes, that's a good age to really develop into the sport. Especially if chess is like really, it will take a long time to master, and I think that's a very good age to start.
Ainsley, now on the topic of relatives and sports, do you think parents are too involved with their children's sport activities?
Um, Involved in a matter if they're concerned for their child's safety, then I think yes, because like it's not a bad thing for a parent to really be worried about their child, because of course they're playing a dangerous sports game and stuff like that. And yeah.
Now on the topic, I think too much involvement is very bad for the child,
Why, Kuya? Why do you say so?
since it puts too much pressure on them to
Oh.
succeed in the sport they're playing, which damages their mental health and makes them lose the game. And
Yeah, so
Ooh,
okay, I think we have to stop for a moment. I think it's time for us to hear our live reporters in volleyball right now. Let's see for the live updates. Okay, hello.
Good morning, anchors. This is Julian Mangkubat, reporting live here in Iligan City National High School's gymnasium, where the men's volleyball game was held. As of now, the match between Sky Ravens and Trailblazers just ended with a 25-11 score in the first set, bagging the first win for the Trailblazers. While in the second set, Trailblazers still dominated Sky Ravens with a score of 25-11, making them winners for the second match. I'll update you furthermore later. Back to you at the station.
Okay. Thank you,
Penelope.
Julian. Yes,
Um,
thank you.
That's really exciting to see development in the volleyball matches with Sky Ravens
Yes, Sky
winning
Ravens
the
against,
match.
if I'm not mistaken, Trailblazers. Who do you think will win, Kuya?
I really don't know the answer to that question. It's still up in the air with a lot of good teams on and players on each side.
I see. So, Kuya, I want to ask you, in the future, if you were to pick a sports that you would do, what would it be?
In the future, I would really be interested in playing sports that involve a lot more danger, like to
Why?
be more active since, with sports comes health-related benefits, health-related issues with health. So I would like to be more active and, experience a lot of sports in my lifetime. How about you, Ines?
I would say horseback riding. Even if it is that a sport, I would consider it as a sport because you would have to be physically fit for it to happen. And I think that it's not a common thing to see around here. Horseback riding, I'm not sure, but I would really want to experience it and I would really want to see it actually.
So on the topic of horse-related sports, is there any type of horse-related sport you're particularly into, Ainsley?
No, not that I could think of. I would say the only part that I'm interested in sports is the part where you have to do these tricks with the horse and you really have to connect with your horse. I think that's the part where it's thrilling and exciting for me. And how about you, Kuya?
Now, I'm really interested in horse racing.
Oh, really? Okay, yes.
The excitement you get from winning a horse and like your horse winning in the game is truly a rush, but it has a lot of bad publicity, seeing that horse racing is one of the most gambled on sports around the world.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I could see that.
Going back to our topic, Ainsley, what are your thoughts on parents being involved in their children's activities?
I would say it's not a bad thing because parents are always concerned for their children. As long as they don't pressure the children into doing a sports that they don't want to do, and then I think that it's a very okay thing for parents to be involved, even if it's like only for giving motivation and stuff like that.
As I said before, peer pressure is a really big thing when it comes to students, especially young athletes who are into the game, with parents' pressure really affecting them mentally and might lose them in important matches. However, I really believe that with the right amount of support and guidance from the parents and coaches, a child could really excel in sports.
Yeah, so I see that we're not really a sports person, but what is a particular sports that is very hard to watch because it's like kind of complicated? What do you think?
Baseball. For me,
Oh, okay,
baseball
yeah.
is a very complicated sport. Although I love watching it, the rules are just so blurry to me. I don't
yeah.
really get the rules of baseball, but I am very interested in how it works. How about you, Ainsley?
Yeah, so Kuya, I would actually say chess. It's like a really intense match that we have to watch, but it's like also a very complicated for me as a regular viewer to know the rules and stuff like that. It's complicated to watch, especially if you don't know the rules of each the game, and then you have to do like this and stuff. There's like specific things that you have to do. It's really complicated for me actually, but I
Okay.
do will like to learn that someday.
Okay, Ainsley, on the topic of very complicated sports, the Philippines has a rich sporting history and
Oh.
amount of athletes. So, what do you think is the most popular sport in the Philippines?
Also, as we can see, the most popular right now is basketball. Even though our heights might not be the regular height for basketball athletes, we actually have a talent for it. Like it's in our blood for Filipinos to play basketball. But for me, I don't play basketball.
Yes, I have to agree with you. Basketball is quite literally in the blood of Filipinos, seeing as
Yes.
many children play it even in their youth in extreme conditions. But I would have to say boxing is a pretty
Oh,
popular
yes.
sport in our country with a lot of good heavyweight and famous boxers coming from our nation competing in international tournaments.
I would agree to that. So, speaking of your interest in chess, why don't you join a team where they practice for chess and stuff like that?
Okay, I'm not too confident in my abilities to
Oh, I
play
see.
chess. I haven't had enough practice in a while, so I'm if I get enough practice or enough experience, maybe I will play chess.
Oh yeah, that is a very good
What
thing.
about you, Ainsley? Seeing that you are interested in badminton,
Oh,
are you having plans to play competitively?
also actually for that, for me, my body is not capable for sports, and I think that badminton should be just like a hobby thing for me and not a really serious, because like it's like kind of like also very hard, and it's also very like scary to experience if I'm still not like fully prepared and stuff like that. I would say I would practice for it to be better, but I wouldn't say that I would compete into it too.
Okay, and the
Yeah.
topic of sports and sport teams, have you ever joined a sports team in your life, Ainsley?
Oh, so something like that. I actually haven't. I don't plan on doing it. I'm more of like a chill type. I'm not really into like serious stuff and like that. Pero how about you, Kuya? Do you plan on joining and stuff like that?
Now, in the past, I have not played in any professional capacity in team sports since I don't really like sports, as I said. But I would be open to it, possibly in the future,
So,
given more development.
so hypothetically, what would you prefer? A team sports or like an individual sports?
Now, I would really prefer individual sports.
Oh.
Since if I do fail, which is a very likely possibility, I can put the suffering on myself and have no one to blame or like
So,
suffer with.
so I would be like the opposite of you. I would prefer group games or team games or sports actually, because I would say like I'm not really capable of things and I'm like really doubtful, and if I have someone to accompany me with, then I would say that that's really good thing for me, and it's like a motivation for me to keep going, like, oh, there's someone here with me that I could rely on and I could also be with. Then it boosts my energy and my motivation. Yeah.
So Ainsley, what specific type of team sports would you like to play, and what type what factors of team sports do you like? Is it the teamwork? Is it the people you
Oh,
play with? Or?
yes. So actually, if I would have to pick a sports, team sports, I would say volleyball would be really fun to do because we will get to communicate during the game and then we can focus on our own as well like that, and we have someone there with us and something. I just also love the teamwork that we can build, and if I'm not compatible with a team, then I wouldn't mind going to another team to see if I would actually fit.
Mm.
Yeah, how about you, Guya?
I really, as I said, I'm not really a fan of team sports since
Yeah.
it puts a lot of pressure on you to perform well. But as a team, and in the off chance that you fail on something, a lot of the burden is on you, which is really bad. But it also has good benefits, seeing that team sports help people create stronger bonds with people and camaraderie amongst their teammates. And but I don't really think team sports are for me.
Oh yes, okay. So that's your opinion and I really respect it. But what do you think about, like, in our country, in the Philippines, do you think that people here, the Filipinos, are crazy about sports?
I wouldn't say that they're crazy about sports. More of passionate on playing sports, with a lot of teachers and coaches being good and very passionate and determined to pass on their knowledge and skills to the next generation to better prepare themselves to make sports.
Yeah, so I would also agree on that. And I think that in our country as Filipinos, we're actually pretty crazy about it because we really love to cheer for our fellow people and we're really supportive of them. So I'm not sure if that's counted as we're crazy for sports, but I would say that a lot of Filipinos are actually really love sports right now, as I could observe. But like in this situation that I would give you, when the city helps build new sports stadiums, if they were asked to build by a team or something like that, should they be given the money and the budget for it to be built?
Now, seeing as it's quite beneficial for the city in regards to tourism and the people who watch the sports, I think it's a good investment to invest in proper sports facilities for teams that would like to play in a more even and state-of-the-art facility. So now, Ainsley, I have a question for you. What do you think is the standing of women in sports? Do you think they get enough recognition, or do you think it's quite stereotypical of them to not play?
Well, I would say that they're in a line with the men's sports right now because in our modern generation that we have the women's team and we also have the men's team. So in the competition, we have a women's category, we have a men's category. So I think it's pretty aligned and they're equal as of the moment. And I think that's the thing that is really like something that is very great for us women, especially the stereotype that we get like in the past years.
Okay, my opinion on that matter is that yes, women are getting more prominence in sports, seeing that we have more representation of women in the division athletic meet, and seeing as most of them are very talented in their own right. So, Ainsley, follow-up question. How would you feel if the division athletic meet makes a category for women to fight men in certain sports? What are your thoughts on that topic?
My thoughts on that exactly is that I think it's kind of unfair Yeah, we will say that equality, gender equality is really best in our generation right now, but there are some factors that women have that men don't, and that is also like a health thing in the body. And I would say that it's really not equal, like it's not an equal competition, because we can see like from the build only that men have the upper hand of it, and women, the women can have like a pretty good build too, but for me there's like some factors that can affect the competition that women has and then men don't. So I wouldn't say that equality is really in the game like that.
My thoughts on it is, although there might be some issues regarding the quality of the game, but I think it would be really interesting to see a match between the women's league and the men's league as a comparison on their different abilities. Speaking of more sports, Ainsley, how would you feel if they include more water sports in the division athletic?
As for water sports, I can't really name anything aside from swimming as of the moment. But if I'm mistaken and there's more, then of course I'm not sure. But I would say that I guess everyone can have their chances in being the best in their field like that. So I think it's okay for me. Yeah.
My opinion on that is yes, it would be quite interesting to see more swimming related, water related sports in the division athletic meet, seeing that it could give rise to more sports that is unique and gives more people a chance to play sports with more options.
Oh yes, I agree. I think that adding more options in the division meet can really boost the chances for athletes out there that wants to compete but their category is not in the like competition or stuff like that, because I think everyone gets to have an equal chance with one another in their fields, in their sports. Yeah.
Okay, Ainsley, another question for you. In a sports game, if an event with like a team wins, who do you think has the most benefit and contribution in the game? Is it the coach, the parents, or the athletes themselves who have played the game? Or is it the coaches who have taught them how to play the game? Or the parents who supported it?
I think it's everyone. I think everyone gets benefits from these games, and yeah, that I think that is it. Everyone gets benefits because the coaches, by winning, they can earn a lot of money, as well as the players and stuff like that.
Yeah, you got that right, Ainsley. I really love your thoughts on the topic. Yes, I truly believe that everyone can truly benefit if their team wins in the sport that they are playing, seeing that it's a team event and there is no I in team, as they say.
That's true. Speaking of money, do you think our athletes earn enough money? What do you think about it?
Now, on the topic we have discussed, I think athletes get the amount of money they deserve. So
Yes.
if they play well, they get more money. But I think it should be enough to help support them and their family of whatever needs they have, so that they can have more of an incentive to play more in their sport.
So, yes, I would agree to that. And for you, Kuya, do you think there's a stadium near your house?
I really don't think there's a stadium here in the Philippines. Not so much so, not even illegal.
Yeah.
I don't really see any sports facilities around the city, but for small courts around and parks is the most we have to offer on that front. So, Ainsley,
Yeah.
on the topic of sports facilities, what are your thoughts if the city makes more sporting facilities for our athletes?
I would have to say that if we have more space, then I think it's a really good building setup that they will build in the city, because not only that, but there will be finally a venue for our athletes to practice and to do their stuff as it is. And I think that it should get a lot of attention also, because most regular citizens don't actually know about these kinds of stuff. And I think it's really best if they advertise it even more, because it would get a chance for the soon to be aspiring athletes to join teams, to pick what they want, and yeah, stuff like that.
Um, in my opinion, sports facilities are a great boost to the city, with that being giving the players and athletes more room to practice and play competitively. And as you said, it gives the people in the city more exposure to the sports
Yes.
to make them more interested in playing.
Yes, that's true. So I want to ask you, Kuya, if I know you're not like a sports person, but if you were to be a sports person, would you want to be a champion? And why and how?
I think the answer is obvious there, Ainsley. Everyone really wants to win in sports. You got to
That's
aim
true.
for the best. So I would really love to be a champion in a specific sport that I'm playing, because the pride it gives you, the amount of gratification you have, the satisfaction after practicing and then winning a game is truly unbelievable. How about you?
Yeah, I would say that I would really want to be a champion. And I would do it in a way that it's fair for other players too. And I would also practice a lot for it. I would like stay physically fit and do the things that needs to be done in order to be able to compete in this competition, so that I would become a champion. But if ever I would lose to a competition, then I don't see why it's a problem, because there's still a lot of chances that I can take in the future. So I don't think it's really necessary to be down because I didn't win. And yeah.
On the topic of sports champions, is there any specific athlete, dead or alive, that you would like to see or meet in real life?
Oh, I would say Manny Pacquiao, because he's really well known here, of course, and he's famous. I would really want to see him and possibly be interviewing him at the moment. And it's a really good opportunity for my career if I interview him as a journalist. And I would also want to ask him for tips and how he became to like a very famous person, how he practiced for it and stuff like that.
Now, I really would love to see a professional chess player, like
yeah.
Magnus Carlsen, which is to
Very
give me more
famous.
insight on how to play and win games, and give tips on the young chess players out there who would like to get into chess, such as yourself, who would like to know chess and play
Yes.
it.
I think that's a very good athlete to lean on, because he's got a lot of experiences, and I would say that's agreeable.
Okay, Ainsley, on the topic of athletes, what do you think is the most important factor that will help an athlete in the game? Is it the determination? Is it the practice?
Yes. So I think it's the important factor for athletes to be able to win is their mindset. They shouldn't be thinking about like, oh, I'm going to lose this game and stuff like that, because it's really undetermined because you don't know the results yet. And I think it's best if you do your best at the competition instead of just like thinking about this negative aspects, because it can actually ruin your performance during the competition, because it can ruin your mood, ruin the way you compete. And yeah, I would say that mindset. How about you, Kuya?
I would really like to say that I think it's the ability of the athlete to think, like improv on a specific time, because practice and field experience are very different.
Yes.
And you have to make split-second decisions that could make or break the game, which is why your ability to move very fast is, or think very fast is a very important part of sports. Don't you
Yes.
believe that, Ainsley?
Yes, I agree on that very much. And as a normal citizen here, not and a regular person actually, was there a time that you watched like a movie show that influenced like, oh, I really want to try this sport because you watched it and it looks really fun? Have you had that experience before?
I would really like to try the fantasy sports they play on, for example, Harry Potter, like Quidditch.
Yes.
I would be really interested in playing that, but I don't really understand the rules, but it really looks fun, and I think it would be very nice to play if it existed in real life. How about you, Ainsley?
Yeah, for me, I would say that I have been influenced by animes because, for example, Haikyuu, their volleyball, I actually watched it and it looks really fun, and it made me feel like, oh, I want to try this so badly because of how they played it, their determination and the way the show portrayed on the competition and stuff like that. It made me really realize that, oh, what am I doing? I should try this, and it's really fun. Yeah.
Okay, Ainsley, more questions regarding athletes. What do you think we could do to help our athletes who suffer from mental health related issues, seeing that sports is very stressful? How do you think we can help them cope, or any advice regarding how they treat stress or mental health?
So I would say that they should meditate and they should have a time for themselves, because it's not all, because if you get pressured, then that would lead to like a lot of bad factors that would affect your career especially, or your health and stuff like that. So I would say that probably I would say that they should meditate. They should have someone to talk to if they are in their lowest times. Yeah, I would say like that.
I really love your stance on that, Ainsley. I also believe that peer pressure and stress in a game is really damaging to the player's mindset, which is why they need to relax before and after the game and not just pressure themselves into performing the best, and think about what's best for themselves, don't you?
Yeah, so what do you think about the players who were pressured into doing these sports? What is your motivation or tips that you can give them?
Now, for the players who have experienced stress regarding, loss or peer pressure or losing the game, I would really love to say that there are more opportunities up ahead. As they say in terms of relationship, there are more fish in the sea, and I would truly believe that there are also more opportunities for you to play sports competitively in the future.
Yeah, so I would say that if they don't like the sports, and they were pressured into doing it by their relatives, I think they should give up. Not in a bad way, but in a good way that can help their health be more healthy and not be like very toxic. Because if they keep on doing the sports that they don't like, then that would really affect their mental health and stuff.
That is very well said, Ainsley. Now, on the
Yeah.
topic of health in sports, as players place in sports, they are prone in dehydration or lack of food. So, what can you give them advice on during that element?
Also, they should carry like their necessities like they need, like for example water, snacks, because it's very important to be hydrated and to be guan, because if they have these factors, then they could be more motivated and won't lose energy and would still have the time and the energy for them to participate in their competitions and stuff like that.
I also believe that players should get ample break time, especially in sports, seeing that it's very stressful, and a time for them to relax and de-stress is very good for them in the health sense.
Yeah, so do you think that the cost for tickets for sports events should be much more cheaper? What are your thoughts on that?
I really think that depending on the type of sport, like for example in your local sporting like basketball game, which is very free, it's good to make the citizens play and get exposed to certain sports that might influence them into playing sports. But however, for games such as the division athletic meet and other more professional games, I really think that very high prices damage the sport altogether, since it doesn't give enough people the opportunity to watch and experience the vibe of the sports. Even though although they can watch it digitally, I really believe that the real thing is very much the best part.
Yeah, so for me, I think that they should have like an equal amount for the tickets so that everyone can enjoy. But these tickets, I think, is that there's like, this is also one of the things that the athletes receive for their hard work. And I don't think that they should have it like really expensive, but I think it's like an equal amount that they should receive, and they should put that as the cost for the tickets.
So Ainsley, we have said in a lot of this life that sports has a lot of benefits regarding health and exercise, but do you believe that sports has more benefits regarding real life situations such as your work or job?
Oh yeah, so I think so too, because in a combat sports, I think it will be helpful in real life if ever they're in danger, because especially in the area nowadays, there's a lot of dangers leaking through everywhere, and I think it's important to know like even like simple combat styles so that we would know how to prepare and to one ourselves, like how do you call this, self-defense. Yes, I think sports can really want self-defense.
Okay, we just got an update from the chess match. We are getting live feed from our field reporters near the chess
Oh, I
event.
see. Let's take a look.
Good day, first. As of now, the secondary boys chess competition has ended with the three chosen regional qualifiers for the 2026. We have the City Central District from the Trailblazers, the North Red Fox and 5 Offense Pink Panthers. We're here right now in the chess venue once again for the secondary chance for the women. And as you can see behind me, it is still ongoing, but we will update you later on. Thank you. That is Merzad and Malbastra reporting.
Wow,
Whoa,
that is
we
really
have-
interesting.
We have
Three
swimmers.
regional competitors to the regional athletic meet.
Yes.
From the Trailblazers, the
That
Red
is-
Fox, and the Pink Panthers. I
Yes,
believe.
that is very thrilling. I just hope that they could win the competition for us. No pressure though. I think they will do very well. But congratulations to the winners.
Yes, it is very. It is gonna bring very much big pride in Iligan for the regional sports winners to hopefully make it to the nationals.
Yeah, so as we can see, we had the update, but now let's move on back to our conversation. So, as a personal thing, who do you think swims best in your family?
I don't know, but I really think that it's my grandmother.
Oh.
Seeing as she's born near the water, which makes her apparently a good swimmer back in the day. How
Yes.
about you, Ainsley?
I would say my dad actually, because he's actually gone through competitions, swimming competitions like this, and I think it's really good for his health actually. And personally for me, I'm not really a great swimmer, so I think he should teach me some skills, and stuff like that. Yeah.
On the topic, Ainsley, I heard you mention that you are a big fan of team sports now. What are your
Yes.
thoughts on mental team sports such as the Math Olympics?
Oh, Math Olympics, you say? I think that's a really good practice for the mind, and it's a really good practice for the youth nowadays, especially since we're really glued to our devices. I think this is a good practice so that they would be more into like math and stuff like that, because math is an interesting subject actually. If you actually get to know math, then it would be actually pretty easy, and it's not a bad thing for the youths to do. How about you? What do you think?
I really love your stance there, Ainsley. I also believe that children should learn to like math more, but with the opinion that math is a very hard subject, seeing as it's complicated and quite frankly boring for most people. I think math Olympics are very good opportunities for children good in math or experiencing or want to develop their math skills to really play and develop.
Yes, I would agree to that. And there's this question I've been meaning to ask. What do you think players do to keep fit?
Now, seeing as they play a lot of sports, I think practice and field exercises are a big part on their physical fitness, but I think what they do on their personal matters, such as like their diet or
Yes.
the cause their stress, how they affect that, is a big part on how they keep physically and mentally fit for any game and situation.
Yeah, I would also agree to that. Aside from practicing and exercising a lot to keep fit, I would also say that they should have like vitamins. They should drink vitamins, protein, and stuff like that to really improve their stamina, their endurance, and overall their body health. I think that's a thing that they do all the time in order to be able to compete and be good at this. Yeah.
Ainsley, another question for you. What do you think, or what would you like to be? What are you interested in seeing more people play a certain sport? Is there a specific sport you would like people to play more often?
Yes, so I would say archery or horseback riding actually, because it's really an interesting sports to see people do, and I know that it will make a lot of people interested in the specific sports thing that they do. And with this, I think it's a really good influence for people to do these types of sports, because it's not really common nowadays, as we can see, because we don't really see it a lot often. There's only like a specific group or people that do it, and I think it's like it's not a bad thing for them to really do, but I think it's also like, yeah. How about you?
I would really love to see more people play sports like chess or
Oh, yes.
golf. But another big surprising thing is baseball. I am really surprised seeing baseball, as not a lot of people that I've known really play baseball here in the city, which is why I'm very surprised seeing it in the division athletic meet. Don't you think so, Ainsley?
Yeah, I would say so too, and I agree. And speaking of sports, there's actually terms that different people use, which is like soccer, and then what is the other one? Football. Yes, both of the terms are the same, and they're like the same sports, but people call it differently. I don't know why they do it.
I think it's
I think
more
that
of
they
a
should have like
regional thing. Yeah.
regional thing. Oh yeah, I see. I see. Is that really like thing that they do? I don't know.
I think football is also another game, but on the topic, to keep this going, do you think senior citizens should be more active in sports?
Yes, I think they should be more active in sports instead of just like being in their houses and glued to their screens all the time. It's like a really refreshing thing to see them play outside, be in the sun and stuff like that. I know it's tiring, but you will get used to it most of the time, and it has like many benefits of it. And yeah, I think they should pretty much be more into the sports.
I think that senior citizens should really be more active in sports, since it helps their health develop, and it's really a matter of health and recreation, so that they can spend more time with their grandkids or children and not be stuck in the house, since it's very damaging for their health.
In the topic, do you like exercising?
I really do not. I really don't like exercising. I really find it quite exhausting, especially after a stressful
Yeah.
day at school, or for some of you there who work.
Yeah.
It's
I would
very
agree.
stressful.
I would agree into that too, since I don't really exercise, because if I do somewhat exercise, I actually get lazy and not do it at all anymore. Like, I have this routine that I need to be based on during the week, and I do it like one time and then I stop. I don't know why, but I guess it's like a normal thing for me. So yeah. How about you, Kuya? Like, what do you think on extreme sports? Do you think that it should be regularized, or should it be like removed?
I think that there should be more exposure and regulation regarding extreme sports, such as cave diving or like mountain climbing, which I heard is a
yes.
recreational activity, since it's very dangerous for those who participate in said activities, which is why I would find it comforting to see it regulated and have more safety measures.
Yes, I would also agree on you in that one, because it's not a bad thing to do like those extreme sports, but you have to be a professional and you have to be able to have practice for years for it in order to be like really regularized, because like it's dangerous for normal people out there, and especially me. I think it's very dangerous for us to do with, and I think it's okay if there's like any regulations, rules to it, and if there's like safety teams watching, so that they should be like, they could be ready if ever an injury happens, or an incident.
Okay, Ainsley, on the topic of regulations in sport, is there a specific rule in a game that you don't really like, that you feel that ruins the game?
For me, any rules? I don't think there is, because I don't really know the rules. I'm not that sure. But yeah, I would say not really. But if there is, then I think the athletes can speak for themselves in that one, and let's see if they actually agree to remove it or stuff like that.
I believe that all rules in a game are put there for a reason, for balance or for the safety of the players, which is why I don't think there is an unnecessary rule when it comes to sports. Now, on the topic of health in sports,
Yes.
do you think there are any emotional benefits when it comes to playing sports? Since we discussed the physical, the mental benefits, are there any emotional benefits when it comes to playing sports?
Yeah, so for me, like during competitions, the athletes should learn to be mentally prepared to lose, because they don't know all the time that they could win, and I think it's really important for them to exercise this kind of mental what do you call this, mental mindset, because if you don't exercise this mental mindset, then I think it could really affect your performance.
Now, I believe there is a lot of emotional potential in sports, seeing that the thrill of winning is a very emotional moment for
Yeah.
the players, the coaches, which is why there are a lot of benefits emotionally when it comes to sport, especially if you love the game you're playing and you're very passionate about it, and you want to teach it to the younger generations or people who are interested in playing the sport.
So in the topic, what do you think about sport players, or athletes actually in particular? What do you think about athletes who have experience with this particular sports that they've been doing for years, and is actually really attached to it? What do you think that if they, for example, they get injured like permanently, do you think that they should continue, or should they just be like a coach for a team?
I believe that since they're very passionate on the game they're playing, if something happens to them that allows it to, they don't play the game anymore, I think it would be good for them to use their knowledge on a mentoring capacity, like coach, since they have a lot of untapped knowledge that they can pass on to people for more experience.
Yes, I would also agree on that. And what do you think is the most expensive sports that there is out there?
I really believe that sports like golf are very expensive, since the clubs, the balls you need to play, and the exclusive clubs or like places you need to play in order to play golf is very expensive. And since land is very short here,
Yeah,
in
it's
short
limited.
demand, it's limited
Yes.
here in the Philippines. How about you, Ainsley?
I would also say, yeah, I would agree to you. Golf is very expensive right now because of the equipment. And it's not only like golf, but there's also like a lot more sports that is very like a very expensive equipment that they have to obtain in order to compete. But if they're passionate enough, then I think like they deserve that. And I think that they should use what they can for it to happen, for their dreams to come true. And Kuya, what do you think is the best sports in like casual time bonding with your family?
I really believe that slow, steady sports like tennis or badminton or chess is very good for your family recreation, since it's fun, anyone can play it. I mean, it's not really that hard to play, and the rules are quite easy, I believe, for you to understand, and it's not like the harsh sports like wrestling, which is very
yes.
bad if you're trying to play it recreationally.
Yeah, I would also agree on you on that one. And the sports that is like really best for like occasional thing is like things that are team work, actually team sports, like for example tennis, badminton. I think it's a really good recreational thing that the family can do occasionally. Yeah.
Ainsley, I want to ask you this certain question.
Yes, of course.
With sports being so physically demanding for athletes, what are your thoughts on athletes using drugs or steroids to enhance their performance in games?
Oh, so that is very interesting actually. So for me, that type of thing that people do, I think it's a bad habit, and I think that they should not allow it because it's like a disadvantage for those who actually work hard normally. And drugs, they can really affect the body and stuff like that. I don't advise it for anyone at all. Yeah.
Yes, drugs are very bad for those who use it, and I like the fact that you mentioned that it takes away from those who have
Yes.
practiced hard and sacrificed a lot to play a game just to be beaten by someone who has abused medication.
Yeah, I would agree. The athletes that use these cheating things in order to win is actually very bad for the competition because we can't really determine who's the winner. And the fact is, in our society right now, these type of athletes that cheat are actually very famous, and there are actually a lot of kids who follow them because it's like their dream thing, and they become the inspiration. And I think it's really bad influence, and it's like not a really good thing to be famous about. And especially if we don't know what the athlete is doing behind scenes, like they could be like taking drugs for them to win and stuff like that, we will really not know. So I think that the coaches should be certified and then verified for it to be like, they should be like sure that the athletes won't use this type of things. Yeah, that's what I
So,
think.
another semi-controversial topic I would like to ask is, people with disability are often discriminated and like, against, or like advised to not play sports. What are your thoughts on the topic? Should they play sports? Should they rest and to not get hurt more? Or
Yeah, so for me, despite their disabilities, I think that everyone should have the opportunity to play from what they from as their like capabilities. I think that even disabled people has like they are very capable, and I think the competitions should have like a separate thing for the disabled so that they could be able to compete. Like for example, the division meet right now, we have the para games for the people who actually are disabled but still want to experience having fun. because not only for regular people like us, we shouldn't like be the only ones to have fun. I mean, why not also the disabled people? They have like many opportunities and they have very more capabilities that some of us even don't.
I
Yeah.
really like your opinion on the matter, Ainsley. As they say, don't judge a book by its cover. So I really believe that if someone is very passionate in playing a certain sport, we shouldn't be against them playing, but instead support them or give them more facilities or proper maintenance to play the sports.
Yeah, so during the summertime as we have right now, where do you go swimming actually, Kuya?
I really prefer pools. I am not
yes.
a fan of the sea since it has a lot of sand. It's very hot, and quite frankly, seawater is very salty and it stings your eye. Like
Yes.
you can't really um, play. Although it has good parts in it, like you can do beach volleyball or have more time in the sun. I would really prefer a pool since it's basically the same. It's the same experience, not entirely the same, but it's more controlled. It's less hazardous since there are people watching, and I feel like it's more friendly for those who are
Afraid of the water?
afraid of water. Yeah.
Yeah, so actually that's me. I actually have a phobia for that. I'm actually afraid of the ocean. I just don't like deep waters, and I would actually also prefer the pool because just like what you said, Kuya, I actually don't like the feeling of sand and especially wet sand on my body because it's irritating me in some sort of way. It makes me uncomfortable. And yeah, I would also prefer the pool because in the pool you can have like private pools and we could be the only ones there and stuff like that. Pero meanwhile on the beach, like there's only limited beaches out there that is actually private because not a lot of people actually buy it for themselves or stuff like that. Most beaches are actually public. Yeah.
Okay, so Ainsley, I would like to ask for your opinion on something. What do you think is the 5 most watched sports in the world?
Also, based on my opinion, the 5 most watched sports is soccer, baseball, archery, I would say, and let's say boxing, and then volleyball, and then I would also have to recommend, think also golf. Yeah, those are the most watched things in the country. No, not in the country, but actually around the world. And mostly actually in soccer too, it's very a popular game. And also basketball. Those are like the common sports that people watch often because they have fun watching it. They are entertained. And there are actually a lot of sports athletes that are professional in these that they admire and they have as inspiration for their dream paths.
I reflect your views on that, Ainsley. Number one, I would have to say is basketball. A lot of people are big fans of the basketball game, especially the NBA here in the Philippines, with basketball being practically in the blood of every Filipino. It's very famous around the world. Second, I would have to say is soccer. Yeah, with the World Cup and major clubs around the world and many famous athletes, I would have to say it's a very close second to basketball.
Yes.
For third, it would have to be swimming. Weirdly enough, Olympic level swimming, I would believe, is a very good sport. It gains a lot of traction, a lot of people are interested in it.
Yes.
Also, gymnastics, I believe. gymnastics are also good sports, since it helps people. It's very exciting. It's very new to watch since not a lot of gymnasts live here in the Philippines.
That's true. That's true.
So it's very entertaining. It's fresh to watch.
Yes.
And fifth would have to be tennis and or badminton, since it's easy, it's very fun, it's leisurable, it's leisure,
Yes.
It's very
So-
easy for them to understand.
Yeah. So, what is your opinions for student athletes? Do you think that we should give them time for practice and a time for school, or should they only be focusing on school and academics because that's what the people think nowadays that is much more important? What do you think?
I really believe that on the terms of student athletes, especially since City High has a sports program,
Yes.
moderation is the key to anything in this area, since sports athletes need to practice for their games, but they don't need to neglect or push away their academics. I believe that balance in terms of academics and sports is the true way to go when it comes to
Yes.
student athletes.
Yeah, so I actually agree on that. That student athletes should have a time for their practice because that's basically their dream path that they're going through. And not all the time people are academically smart. So I think it's best if whatever suits their taste that they should go to. If they really love sports, then why not let them do sports and stuff like that? Yes.
Very
Thank you.
insightful, Ainsley. I have a question. In the topic of exercise, you have mentioned that you don't really exercise and you don't like exercising. Do you have plans to improve exercising in the big 2026?
Yes, I would say I would. And I think that everyone should exercise, especially if it's a new year. And I guess we should end it here. I think it's time for lunch, and I guess we're hungry.
Okay, that's all, folks. We will be back shortly after this lunch break. Once again, I'm Jaden Malines, and this is Ainsley.
Estolioso, reporting to you live at the radio station right now.